All right. We are live. Yeah, let's not move the table.
Yeah, table moves.
Table's on wheels.
It was a good idea until everybody moves it.
Oh, look at Sozo. All right, so we don't have anybody in here yet.
Doing the moderator thing.
Oh, there it is. 9 people in.
Wow.
Nobody chat.
Not yet. Let's get some people rolling in, and we'll start chatting.
Yeah. Oh crap!
What you got?
I forgot that I have my No, I won't worry about it right now. I should have YouTube open to see the comments though, right?
You should be able to see them below in StreamYard.
Okay.
There should be a comment section, I believe.
There we go. There we are.
What's up, Barbarossa?
Jimmy.
Right. Hello from New York. I'm sure it's cold there. What's going on, Barbarossa? CJ Poker, what's up? What's up? Got everyone flowing in. Now they get to see who's on the other end of the voice chat.
Yes. Highly disappointing. Highly disappointing.
PK, what's good, sir? Love the channel. Thank you. Thank you. We love producing content for people that love our channel. Hello from snowy Washington State. Yeah, you can keep that, man. We'll see you in a few months.
Not Washington, but Donners.
Oh, yeah. So the pass going into California, the summit where Donners is like 16 feet of snow.
Wicked.
Just relaxing in Colorado. Nice, nice. All right. 68 degrees in Kentucky. Yeah, it was like was it like 50 here? Something
Yeah,
like that?
it was actually
55?
pretty warm. It was just cloudy all day. PK, what part of Colorado are you in?
Sozo, what's up, sir?
Dang.
Double dang.
All right, so
Somebody on the table.
First thing, we need to get your YouTube channel in here, and everyone that's in right now needs to go subscribe to Madman's channel, since we're slowly convincing him to produce some YouTube content.
Very much in the works.
Very much in the works. So can you shoot Sozo your YouTube channel link, and he can post it? Because only moderators can post it in the live chats, and mine's not going, so I can't mod anybody. Young truck driver, what's up? What's up? I saw that sign. Yeah, craziness. You're shaking the table again.
Okay, did not touch the table.
Purple Yeti checking in from Joplin 44. Nice. PK 60 miles south of Denver. Have a delivery in the morning in Aurora. Okay. All right.
Yeah, my parents are out in Monument right now at my brother's house for New Year's. Well, Christmas, but.
Okay.
Mad Money.
Mad Money from the chat. Okay, so Sozo just posted the channel. So everybody that's in here right now, please go over to that channel and hit the subscribe. The more people we get subscribed to Madman, the more the audience...
the more pressure he will feel.
Yes. So we have him right on the cusp. He's filming some stuff, and I'm going to help him edit it for his first few videos. But if there's a bunch of subscribers waiting, that would be even better.
Peer pressure is a horrible thing, really.
Right, right. At least it's for good this time, right?
Yes, yes.
We're not giving you like a drinking habit or a smoking habit or anything.
No, I come with those. They're already pre-packaged.
Predisposed.
Predisposed to most bad habits.
Yeah.
Too old for others.
Ask the people watching how how's the sound?
That's true. Yeah. Can we get a sound check?
Good or?
Yeah. Go ahead and talk, Madman.
Yeah, talk so we can get a sound check.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay. I have the volume turned all the way up here.
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit better now.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So we got 28 people in here right now and more joining in. So first of all, let's welcome Mike. He is our guest. He was probably one of the first people to join the Discord that we made that was not one of our friends in trucking prior. And he's hung around since day one. And now we would consider him a good friend. We talk almost every day when we're driving, of course. So let's send it over to you, Mike. You want to tell the people, give them your 30-second elevator pitch about your background and experience?
Sure, 30 seconds. Equipment operator for 16 years. Truck driver for May will be 6. Do flatbed, have done tanker, I've done reefer. Up here in the Great White North, we do a lot of Super B work. The way we get our license is rather different from down there, for the vast majority. Borderline retarded. That's always good. You need it for this job. It's considering it's minus 42 in American Eagle numbers today.
Ooh, he converted him over to converting Celsius for us.
The only advantage to that is too cold to get any more snow until it warms up on Sunday.
It's too cold for snow?
It's just too cold for snow. That's a real thing that happens up here.
Okay. Interesting.
What a wonderful place. It gets so cold it doesn't want to visit. So you talked about Super B stuff. You want to tell the audience what that is? Truck drivers don't even know in here.
Yeah. Super Bs is more something you see up here north of the border than down south. Our weight limits are so much higher. When you're hauling a Super B, your gross weight of the truck is 63,500 kilograms. So times that by 2.2, you're looking at almost 140,000 pounds, 150,000 pounds. And the only time that changes is when the spring weights change. Then you change the secondary weights. And all it is a kind of like 2/3 of a trailer, a brake with 3 axles, and then 2/3 of a trailer, and then another 2 axles that hook onto your truck. Dealing with that kind of weights, you want higher horsepower on the truck, higher torque. Right now I'm driving a 2019 Kenworth T800, which 510 horsepower, 1850 torque would probably handle Super Bs fairly well.
So right now, what kind of trailer do you haul?
Now 90% of the time I'm hauling step deck. I literally tarped a load right before I came home from Christmas, which fun, good times, good times. The other 10% of the time I haul, it's many names, double drop, RGN. Basically, it's one of the trailers that has a gooseneck. It has a flat piece, goes down, disconnects at a pin to the rest of the trailer, and then you have a flat piece that goes onto 2 or 3 axles.
Cool. Yeah, I think I've heard it commonly called RGN down here. I only know a little bit about the stuff that you have to like strap and tarp and chain and things like that.
I validate doing deck work like this. It's the only exercise I really get anymore.
True.
I'm not going to go to the gym at 50 years old. I'm not going to go for walks in minus 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Throwing chains is a workout. Throwing tarps is a workout. Throwing straps and cussing is a workout. So that's my exercise. If I didn't have that form of exercise, I think I would have a much unhealthier lifestyle. being that I'm loading at least every week, if not twice a week. How many times a week do people go to the gym? Same thing.
Right. Yeah, definitely. We're more of a swing the doors and take a nap type, but I do appreciate the work that all of you guys do when it's cold. I'll watch you from the window of the nice warm.
It's not so bad. I same thing as a train. No, there are in Australia they have true road trains when you're talking about 3, 4, 5 trailers in a row. Up here they're called Super Bs. They do have another form of trailer called an A train, and what an A train is a small trailer, 2 axles, and then you have a bar you can actually adjust the length on, which attaches to your second small trailer. And what that's for is because, especially south of the border, certain bridges, certain roads, you can only carry so much weight within a certain amount of space. So if you're going over a bridge, you actually have to lengthen the distance between the first trailer and the second trailer. Those were popular up here back in the day, but a B train can still haul more weight and it takes up less space. It's 62 feet as opposed to an A frame, which can take up to almost 80 and still carry more weight than an A frame.
All right. All the technical terms.
Yeah. It's something up here you see common because the price, as many people know, the price of trailers, the price of trucks, everything right now has skyrocketed. To balance that, you carry more weight, carry more freight. You get there cheaper for the customer. Customers generally happy at getting an extra 10,000, 12,000 pounds.
So I just
no.
So
does Canada have a better infrastructure? No. If you actually look at our roads, when you tear apart your roads, you probably have about 4 to 6 inches of asphalt. A lot of our roads are 8 to 12 inches of asphalt. It's just the winter conditions. They deal with more of a spring thaw, winter freeze. They have to be made tougher. They have to be made thicker. That's why we can carry the heavier weights.
Yeah. So where do you typically, you are over the road, right?
I am over the road. I typically run Canada wide. I'll go right from the coast of BC all the way to the coast of New Brunswick. As a matter of fact, come Monday, I will actually be on the road towards New Brunswick in the Maritimes.
Nice. How long is that going to take you?
3.5 days.
Cool.
3.5 days, I'd like to think. Yeah, it's about. I hate converting numbers off the top of my head.
You can throw kilometers out.
It's about 2,000 miles. It's
Okay.
about right around that number.
Cool. He said, "How do you get to work, snowmobile?"
Not far off.
Right.
Depends on the part of the country.
Right. Let's do a drink check. What do you got going on?
Today it's grapefruit rattlers, right there.
Okay.
Made by Moosehead, so it's somewhat Canadian.
Same thing I was drinking last time. Got a water over there.
I don't know if anybody knows the joke about like Dasani being not very good water, but today I have Dasani because that's all the store had.
Well, if you're going to drink water, it might as well be produced by Coke.
Right.
It's true. I usually prefer Aquafina.
I don't know. Some people are pretty snobby about their bottled water.
You know what? The sad part is one of the most popular brands of water up here is actually bottled using community water in BC. They basically have a big tap and they fill up 1,000 bottles in an hour.
Nice. Does Man French? Do you speak French, sir?
Yes, I do speak English and French.
See, I didn't even know.
Up here, it's a requirement. If you go Canada wide and want to avoid a ticket from the DOT in Quebec, you're better off to speak French.
Yeah.
Because if you call him bad names in English, he's going to get twice as upset as he would if you call him bad names in French. So I've taken French since I was a wee kid. I took it all through school. Lived in Quebec for a couple of years when I was much younger. Lost a lot of it by not using it. I mean, I'm in an English part of the country. I can go, as a matter of fact, I've went 5 years without speaking a word of French in this part of the country.
Yeah.
Nice.
But doing the Canada-wide, there's parts of Northern Ontario that are almost all Quebec. There are parts, all of Quebec is French, and then there's parts of New Brunswick that are also French as well. So it does help deal with things easier down there.
Right.
Do we have longer HOS? Yes. We do per day, but you still have to watch per week. We still work under the 7-day, 70-hour week. No electron.
They're putting you on the spot.
Well, you could actually say it a number of ways. You could say chauffage pas de chance. You could say it. No, pas de chance. Chauffage pas de chance would be about the right one.
You know,
that's how I would say it anyway.
Mention's gonna check.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Google's fired up already.
Right.
Well, that's not what Google says.
Wait.
Here's the thing about Google. When you translate to English to French on Google, it uses Parisian French.
Yeah.
When you speak French in Canada, unless you're speaking to a person from Paris, you're not speaking Parisian French. You're speaking Quebec French, which is about as slang as you can get.
Yeah.
An example of that, a flat tire in Parisian French is un pneu crevé. Very classy way of saying it. In Quebec French, un flat tire esti. and that's accurate.
Spain and Mexico, two very like, you can speak Spanish, but they're two very different things.
What I found funny is if you speak to somebody who's from Paris, it almost sounds like a Canadian trying to talk very proper French.
Yeah.
It has almost that same thing. They're over pronouncing their words. They're talking very slowly, and you can't understand everything they're saying. Not so much with a person come from Quebec. You're gonna what?
So let's throw out a non-trucking question. All right.
It's a French non.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it'll kind of ties in. So, ice cream. What's your favorite ice cream and toppings or toppings?
Okay.
Right?
You have to factor the questions to remember the fact that I'm old. Old folks don't put toppings on ice cream. We go with a certain flavor ice cream and we deal with it. Cherry Garcia, Ben and Jerry's.
All right, that's a good choice. All right.
Yeah, topping free. The problem with being old is I'm too lazy to go put back in the freezer, so I have to finish off the whole thing. That's my final answer.
What did Madman do before trucking? You kind of touched on.
Yeah, I was actually a heavy equipment operator for 16 years. I ran jobs. I ran excavators. I dozer. Basically, I can build a road to prepare a site to load trucks to whatever needed to be done. I worked 12 years on crushers, and then I spent 4 years doing civil work, basements, building Flying J's, oddly enough.
I know we have talked about this before many times, but what was that bridge that went from operating the equipment to driving a truck?
The crux for me was when I moved to a different province around here, they want an operator who can actually haul his own equipment, which meant getting up here. It's called a Class 1A. Now, some companies said it meant more money. Other companies just said it meant more work. What ended up happening though, once I went and got my CDL, was I ran into companies who just wanted me to haul around equipment and not run it. Now the price, the pay difference between running equipment and hauling equipment is vast. Running equipment, I make $35 an hour. Hauling equipment, you make 20.
Yeah.
So my view and my thinking at the time was, if I'm going to be in a truck and I'm going to be just running around anyway, I might as well be in a truck. So I jumped in with both feet and I spent 6 months, a powder cement truck, dump trucks, powder cement dump truck, water truck. And then I literally went Super B flat deck, which, yeah, if you're going to jump in, you might as well jump in. And I did nothing but Super Bs for the first 4 years of truck driving. So my first year with a straight trailer, safe to say I looked like I didn't know what I was doing when I was trying to back up. Because when you do Super B, I can back around a building, not a problem. Ottawa Senators, I can back around a building, no problem. But my hands automatically did what I needed to do to get the Super B kicked over to get around the building. So when you go to a straight trailer, well, a straight trailer is the exact opposite of a Super B. So my hands, even now, if I don't consciously think about what my hands are doing, I'll try to kick the back end to get the back trailer going. But it's been almost 2 years since I've been on Super Bs, and yet it's still there.
Still there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the same, but I do the same thing. Well, I did the same a lot when we were first just back. With reefers, and I get in a car, I'm like, wait, no, what?
Or
which way?
Yeah,
or when your bobtail is always going the wrong direction. Having a trailer, so I can only imagine when you're used to having two trailers, and you're getting used to the way to turn it, and then you're like, I don't know how to do one.
That was the funny thing too, is if your trailers were the equal length, or if your lead trailer was shorter than your pup trailer, it was loads easier than the other way around. If you had a long lead and a short pup, it was just like trying to back up a fishing trailer with your pickup truck. The thing will take off on you on its own violation. So as long as they're the same, or if you have a short lead, you're going to do fine. It's just like the great Travis Kinley says, slow, check your mirrors, double check your mirrors. And if you have to, get out and look.
Yeah. That could be said anything.
Everything for trucking.
Yeah.
All right. What's Madman's favorite color?
I seem to only wear the colors blue and black.
Same.
That's not sure why that is, but I see somebody is similar to that choice in music and colors.
Oh yeah, we have a uniform on our truck. It's black shirt and jeans. I don't. You got to remember, I'm chaining, I'm strapping. My chains have rust.
Yeah.
My straps have dirt.
Yeah. Can't be too fancy.
Do I ever run through Manitoba? Just about every time I head east. Luckily, it literally takes 6 hours to go through Manitoba, and then I'm done.
So I've learned a lot about Canadian geography from our discussions on the Discord.
Yeah.
Which, if Sozo is still in there, if you want to drop into the Discord, we do a pretty regular like voice chats and stuff, and a lot of time it centers around Madman in there, and we'll have a good discussion about the differences between Canadian trucking and American trucking.
I'm a little ashamed how little I learned about Canada or Canadian history or Canadian or really anything Canadian in school. I've probably learned, I follow some popular Canadian Instagrammers, so I started learning more about Canada the last 2 years. But then talking to you, I'm like actually going and like studying and like reading more about Canada. I'm like, this is so interesting, and I don't know why I don't know.
I think it has to do with our mindsets. Canada is known as peacekeepers. Canada is known as a helping country. The question that says, did I ever serve in the Canadian Army? I did, 4 years. I served as an infantry cross-trained medic, what you guys would call a corpsman.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, very young, young and stupid. But even in our military is brought up like that. Like our military purpose for the last 30 years has been to wear the blue beret, peacekeeping missions.
Yeah.
We're not out looking for fights. We're good at it, but we're not out looking for them.
Are you insinuating that America is out looking for fights?
Not saying it out loud, no. But what it is I think as Canadians we're raised to more look outward than we are in. Where the American, and I'm not knocking it because it works for you. You're a world power, so it works. You're more of, look how well we're doing. We've built this. This is awesome, and there's nothing wrong with that. Canadians are expected to be polite. We're expected to be nice. We're not expected to cause a fuss. When you get to know us, you realize we're only somewhat like that.
Yeah. So I just thought of a random question. Do you know how everybody in the United States jokes about Florida man? Have you heard that joke about Florida man who's always in the news? Because
yeah, it's like a general term.
I thought you would know.
So yeah, we'll teach you about Florida mans.
Okay.
So anytime that you see some ridiculous headlines of something that it seems like one of those clickbait sites that just is satire, but it's a real article.
Right.
It almost always happens in Florida. So when you say the Florida man syndrome, it's like the crazy people that migrate to Florida and then they're in the headlines for doing the most obscure stuff.
So I guess I was wondering, is there a city or province that would be the Florida man of like one province that's really known for like all crazy people, or a city that's like, I don't know,
like the most
yeah. If you guys want a truly unique experience, driving truck, driving in a personal vehicle, make the effort to go to Newfoundland.
Okay.
I've heard you talk about that.
Yeah.
Between their accent and how friendly they are, I won't even attempt a Newfie accent because it's so far beyond me. But it's just, they are without a doubt the nicest Canadians we have, provided you can understand them.
All right,
it'll take 2 or 3 times.
People are.
Will I say sorry the Canadian way? I don't know that there's I don't think we apologize much, do we?
No, never heard it.
We say please and thank you. We're awfully good at that. We're polite that way, but sorry. I seen somebody said that Canadians burned down the White House. Yeah, but you guys started it, so sorry.
So because Saskatchewan is the equivalent to Florida man.
They do things here a little bit different, and there is such a thing as Saskatchewan time. I've been in Saskatchewan now for 7 years. When I built that Flying J as a grader operator. I did all the dirt work around the Flying J in Balgonie, Saskatchewan, in case anyone's interested or stops there. The guy I worked for said I had 3 months to get the work done. The people doing the project said I had 4 days. So there is such a thing as Saskatchewan time. There's also such a thing as Saskatchewan being so flat you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. Because you can actually see the city lights of a city in Saskatchewan 43 kilometers away.
Wow.
Like 28, 30 miles.
Yeah.
And see them clearly. You're not just seeing the haze above the horizon. You're seeing the lights of the city. Yeah, it's flat.
So the question about Letterkenny, that's probably maybe the first show. I don't know. I've watched a lot of Canadian shows, but I love Canada.
Here's my problem with shows about Canada.
Yeah.
There's a show that got rather popular down there called the show with Bubbles, Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
You people didn't look at it like a show. You looked at it more like a documentary.
Yeah. Letterkenny.
That's the problem I have with shows like that.
Yeah. Everybody knows it's satire, right? Maybe not, but I don't know.
The other problem I have is I'm generally in the truck 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks at a stretch. It is very, very hard to get into a show that's not on Netflix, that's not on Prime, that's not on Disney Plus. So most of the time, anything I do watch, I'll put on a documentary before bed to have some background noise to drift off to.
Yeah,
and claim I'm learning as I'm sleeping.
Right. So, yeah, that's right, because you don't have a TV on your truck, right?
No, I have this guy who keeps offering me a truck with a TV and some coffee made in it for some reason. But as of yet, I don't have a TV in my truck. No.
Right. Yeah. So there's this person that keeps getting accused of recruiting for Landstar, and they're trying to get Matt down to the southern area where it doesn't snow.
In my defense, I have looked up Landstar Canada, and all it does is kick me to the U.S. site.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you just have to move here.
Yeah, I don't know how much presence they have up there. I know there are some loads that get ran up there, but I don't
There's actually a truck parked in front of mine from Landstar. Apparently he lives here.
Nice.
And one of the guys from Discord has been talking about applying to them. So, I mean, he runs US loads. I don't. I like my Canada wide runs. I like being able to drive for 3.5 days to get to a delivery. I like driving for 4 days to get to a pickup. You can literally drive every single environment we have with the exception of desert.
Yeah.
We have that. See?
Yep. We have it too in the wintertime. Very low moisture numbers. Not a building for miles. It's called Saskatchewan. It's just filled with snow when it's in those conditions.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
I think we call that Wyoming.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Wyoming, you just blow over.
Lots of snow.
The Mackenzie brothers. Yes, that was SCTV, Second City TV. Bob and Doug Mackenzie were among the best Canadians out there.
Yeah. Never heard of it.
Oh, they do a version of the 12 Days of Christmas that you would play for the rest of your life.
Charlie says, so will this be the year we get a green APU? Hey man, throw down some of the super chats, donate some money. We'll gladly put it towards the green APU.
The longer we sit at home, the longer it's going to be until we get a APU.
Wait, Johnson's Logic's in here? All right, we're out of here. Let's end this.
I actually, my APU has been running for 3 days straight now.
Oh, that's right. Your new truck did come with an APU?
Yep. I went and checked on it yesterday. Still lots of fuel. The truck was actually warm and started like that.
Wow.
Nice. So
that's a lot to be said about any APU. I won't say the carrier, but regardless of who you go with, they're a sound investment for any truck that's on the road.
Right. I'm just waiting for that green APU sponsorship. We can
drop. Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
We can
wouldn't that be nice?
Every single video.
Strange Brew, great movie. Yep.
That shit was on before No Looks when we were even born. Probably.
What did I miss something there?
The show that you guys were talking about, I guess.
Actually, it was before most of you were born because I was shit. Okay, look, I'll be 50 this year. I'll be 50 in June. I grew up without computers. I love computers. I grew up without, I definitely try to be those guys who don't go around saying, well, back in my day, what's that?
Are you sure?
I think I would like to think that I rely more on my morals and my way of living than I do of how we used to do it, is because we did things weird too. You got to remember, I grew up in mostly mining towns in northern Ontario. It's the comparisons between north to south are valid because we have them up there too.
Right.
Fuel prices in Canada, nasty. $1.53 for fuel in Ontario right now, and it's 3.8 liters per gallon. So 3.8 times $1.53 is a lot for fuel.
Yeah.
$5.45 a liter, $5.45 a gallon, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Do you get kind of fuel discounts or anything like that?
We do, depending on who you're with. That's the funny thing about when you guys were talking about Comdata, because we do have trucks that run stateside. We use Comdata as one of our cards, and then we have a Canadian card that works for Flying J. We do also have an app that'll actually show through Comdata what the cheapest fuel is around in an area. But because we're using a US card, half the time it doesn't work. Half the time the price isn't what it says it is. So a lot of times I get mad and I use the Canadian card.
Right.
I do get a slight discount on that, but not as good as what the Comdata. And same with anything else. You learn certain places are going to have cheaper fuel all the time.
Yeah.
Outside of Edmonton, there's a place that always has it 20 to 30 cents lower per liter than anywhere else. Outside of Winnipeg, same thing. There's a place that's always much cheaper than anybody else.
So we are down until probably the 5th or 6th of January, and then we're going to go back on the road. What about you?
January 3rd. I decided Monday. My dispatcher would like me in the truck a little sooner.
Don't
but yeah, I mean, but considering the type of year I've had, I deserve this.
Yeah, for sure.
I spent 2.5 months in the truck straight.
That's why you're when you got out.
Oh, you get a little squirrely.
Yeah. We've done that.
And that's what I say to anybody who's actually thinking about getting into trucking. If you're not already, you better enjoy your own company. These guys can vouch for it. That I laugh at myself all the time. I think half the stuff I say is hilarious. Luckily, a lot of other people do too. Enjoy your own company if you're thinking about becoming a truck driver, because if you don't, you're not going to like the job.
Very true.
For a while, we always kind of take inventory of your happiness and figure out why, like what was making you not, and you have to fix that in order to kind of survive as a truck driver, or else you're just going to spend 11 hours driving and just stewing on whatever it is that's bothering you,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You have to look at it like, and thank your lucky stars if you're thinking about it or doing it now. We have the technology we do. 20 years ago, they weren't watching YouTube videos in a truck. They weren't calling while driving down the highway at 55 miles an hour. We have a great set of tools at our hand to expand our world from just a 4x6 box. And I mean, the things you can do while you're driving. I personally listen to a lot of audiobooks. I love listening to an audiobook. It kills most of my day. Helps to quieten the voices down too. I won't deny that. Audiobooks, documentaries,
Discord.
chatting on the Discord. Who's on? Who's up for a voice? I just stopped to do my up here every 3 hours. We're supposed to do a load check before I start on the road. Anybody up for voice? I jump on Discord for half an hour, and listen to what's going on in everybody's world.
Yeah, that feels a lot of time just chatting back.
Oh, it opens your. 20 years ago, would I have friends from Virginia? Would I have friends who are truck drivers? Well, I might. My parents did own a restaurant, and we had some truck drivers who came in fairly often, and I used to listen to their stories. Like, just one of these days, I'm going to do that.
Purple Yeti.
So, I love trucking simulator.
Let's say I don't understand American Truck Simulator.
All right,
that would be a much fair comparison.
Anybody that's in the chat that is a truck driver and that plays American Truck Simulator, try to explain your best of why game still interests you and you love playing it after driving all day in the truck. That's what Madman. He doesn't quite understand the draw to it, and I mean, I don't know. It looks pretty cool to me, but I just don't have the setup to play it.
It's like Farm Simulator. I don't think a farm simulator, a farmer would farm 18 hours a day and go farming on the computer.
Yeah.
I don't even see a pilot flying all day and then jumping on a Cessna on Microsoft Flight Sim.
And
if I could see them jumping in a fighter jet and playing war games all night, sure, I could see that. That makes perfectly sense.
American Trucking Simulator, though. So instead of like driving your Freightliner Cascadia around, you hop in your hood truck and you go blast down the interstate doing 90 whatever. I don't know, maybe. So Purple Yeti says everything you say is gold, Madman, and he did a $2 super chat. Thank you, sir.
Nice.
Thank you.
Fastest MPH KPH in Canada. Believe it or not, the fastest stretch of Canada is in BC. It is also the hilliest section of Canada. It's called the Coquihalla in BC. The speed limit there is 120 kilometers per hour, which is 75?
Yeah.
75, 78, somewhere around there. That is the fastest stretch in all Canada. Most of the prairie provinces, 110. See, you don't drive, but you're licensed. So you're not spending your day driving a truck and you're playing ATS at night. I perfectly understand that.
Right.
Drive for 13 hours and then play ATS and explain that to me, because I would love to understand. I'm not knocking it. Believe me, I'm not knocking it. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, so we've had a few conversations when Madman first joined the Discord and we added a gaming section, and everyone from American Trucking Simulator was posting up their stuff. Him and I had a discussion saying that you don't always have to understand it, but let people enjoy their thing.
I believe me, if somebody could explain it in a way that said, you know what, Mike, if you play it like this and you get to do this and you get to do that and it's amazing, fantastic, I'd probably try it out. But then when they tell me that they're driving their dream truck, no, you're on your computer sitting at a table.
Come on now.
That's unless you have VR. If ATS is VR, fantastic. I would try that in a second as soon as I get VR goggles again.
Right.
I love me some VR goggles.
Russian spammers in the chat too. You guys can't leave the YouTube videos alone long enough. There's nothing to do in Russia. What is going on?
We got Russian people.
Let's block that user. There it is. Goodbye. All right. So Purple Yeti says, as a guy who drives and then plays ATS, I don't approve of this message. Yeah, Purple, explain to him to enjoy about it though. That's what we need to. We're gonna convert him He's in
Well,
Peter.
like I said, I can't knock anybody who does it. I myself, I used to read books by the pound. I don't anymore. I always carry around 65 books with me because I have 65 different books on my phone at any given time. I just don't see the rationalization. But then again, I do things very different from a lot of other people. I don't cook in my truck ever.
Right.
I'll spend 6 to 7 hours in my home cooking, freezing, preparing meals, and then bring them in the truck and microwave as I need them. Saves me a ton of time on the road. I bring my snacks, my oranges, nuts, whatever. Have I ever driven the ice roads?
Where you seeing that?
No.
I think it is.
Oh,
I have this small aversion to falling through ice.
right.
Um,
Good.
you wouldn't think as a Canadian I would, but very much so. The ice roads aren't as what they were years ago either.
Ice trucker.
The ice roads used to be where the money was. You could drive the ice roads for 3 months and retire the rest of the year. They're not like that anymore. There's so much competition. The rates have driven right down. So why beat up your truck for 3 months?
Yeah.
The other thing is you have to prep your truck really, really thoroughly to do the ice roads. You're dealing with minus 60, minus 70 wind chills. You're dealing with breakdowns. You're dealing with brake pots exploding. Your engine is actually enclosed because they'll actually put either a tarp or a piece of something under the engine block to keep the heat into the engine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not willing to do. I've seen chains snap in cold weather. I'm not going to put myself in that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That's when people see the Landstar board Alaska run that looks really shiny, you know, like $25,000 load to go up to Alaska. People ask us all the time if we're going to take that to Alaska, but it's the same thing. I mean, there's so much extra stuff that goes on. Like you talked about almost $5.50 for a gallon of fuel. The roads aren't the best getting up there, and if you have an aero truck, you're probably going to lose some fare.
I would say and to that I would say this: try it in the summer. Take one trip, middle of summer when everything's nice and dry, the weather conditions are favorable. The trip is breathtaking. There's a section of highway you go along where it actually says watch for bison for the next 58 kilometers, and they're not kidding. There's buffalo laying on the road. Now, that being said, there's a lot to do, a lot to learn. You have to know that when you do that short little stint through the Northwest Territories, you have to pay for that mileage. Northwest Territories is not part of NIFTA. I didn't know that until I went to do it and had to give them $60 that I didn't think I needed to. Would I do that trip again in the summer? 100%. 100%. Winter, not so much.
The thing is that nobody takes into consideration, though, is you're pulling a dry van, you're not getting a load out of it. If you have you can, or if you have flat, you can.
You would, but it's going to be out of Edmonton. You're going to.
I'm talking about the Alaska run.
Yeah. You are going to get a load back. It might not be the load you want, and might not be the deadhead miles you want to do. But usually those loads have so much margin. You're not worrying about deadheading for 500 miles because it's covered. You will definitely get a load back to get you home. That isn't a problem. The biggest problem is going up there with an unreliable truck, because if you're 7 hours in the middle of the wilderness, that call out or the tow truck is going to bankrupt any savings you have.
Yeah. It's just, during the summer that Alaska run dropped by probably like a quarter of the total revenue. So it gets less, and I don't know. It's just not worth it to me. But
yeah, I suggest doing it not because of the worth it to the truck. I suggest doing it for just seeing that scenery, because once you go north of Grand Prairie, it's beautiful. It's some of the most breathtaking stuff you'll ever see, and that goes right up into Alaska. It's amazing. Bring a fishing rod, because there's going to be places you're going to stop and want to fish. You know, do I ever want to drive the American Southwest? ATS might have me down. And you don't set a shipper waiting to be loaded to 8:55. There's another nice thing about flatbed. Keystone. Trucker Josh drives for Keystone. I don't drive for them because they want all their drivers to be US drivers. Okay. The nice thing about running flatbed is I make my appointment to get unloaded. They're waiting on me to unload. I very, very, very seldom have I ever run into a wait of any kind.
So this guy says he recently found a channel and loves the videos, being a driver for 20 years, never bumping a dock. What kind of driving did you do? Probably, I don't know. What would you not have to bump docks for? Maybe cattle? Maybe
bumping a dock.
Cattle.
Even like flatbed, you have to bump a dock every once in a while, right?
No. Most of the time when you're doing flatbed, not step deck, but flatbed work, most of the times where you consider a dock, they usually have a drive-through where the floor is raised so the forklifts can actually load you right at floor level.
Yeah.
Some here.
Yeah, we've been unloaded a couple of times in Utah that has flatbed guys that are getting loaded and unloaded at the exact same docks that they have drive-ins back up to. It was really interesting. And we knew that had to be unusual, but
there's the answer. Yachts and sailboats.
Okay.
Wow.
They I would think most companies up here, especially with the ratings they have, like the safety laws we have up here, they won't let a forklift run up and down a deck without walls. There's no safety barricades in place. So OHS, Occupational Health and Safety, would have a conniption.
Hey, down here it's OSHA, but what OSHA doesn't know doesn't hurt them.
You'd be amazed how often I hear that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those forklift guys that load and unload are crazy sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what's really funny is you always get the guys who, well, I've been loading trucks for 20 years. Fantastic. I'm proud of you. Load it the way I want you to, please. My trailer, my row, my license. Please just start here, do like this, and you'll get that. I mean, everybody same as this. I mean, the other day there was 3 guys who currently work for Landstar, all do things a little bit different. All are all happy with the way they do things. It's the same thing in flatbed. It's the same thing in driving truck. It's the same thing with running equipment. We all do things a little bit differently, but it gets you to the same place at the end, as long as you get there on time, safely, and you made a bit of profit.
Yeah, that's what it's about. I love the individuality that we're doing this job, but it's
Yeah.
Oh, very different stories. Matter of fact, even the way the thing I found most interesting when I started when I joined the Discord was how most people seem to get their licenses down there, and up here, vastly different system.
Right.
Up here, you don't get the job. You try to find financing to go to a truck driving school. Yeah, you pass your truck driving school. Some people will have a company pay for it if they've been at the company for a while already. Other people get paid for by the government because they've been out of work for a while. A lot of different ways of doing it.
Right.
But almost very rarely through a company.
Yeah. So Larry says tankers don't bump docks. You are correct. Totally forgot.
Yeah.
But I will say the schools to get your CDL down here are very common. I think maybe since we went to Prime and we have quite a few people in our Discord that also went to Prime, maybe you're thinking that there are more people that go to like Swift or Prime. Shiner does the same thing to get your CDL. But
yeah,
that's
any of the training companies.
there are training companies which maybe is different than up there, but there are still millions of people that get their CDLs that don't go to that.
We just couldn't afford it.
Yeah. Like, okay,
and that's the thing. When I got my CDL, my course was $4,000.
Yeah.
3-week course for $4,000.
It was about $6,000
we were
each.
we through the community college. It was a little bit cheaper, but we just couldn't afford to keep working our jobs and go to school and then have to find some place to hire us. So we were just like taking the Greyhound all the way across the Missouri.
See, and I find that absolutely frightening.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh, I could well imagine to get on a bus, to not know if you even like the job or if you're going to be good at it or if you like doing it, and hoping there and just hoping you're going to like it, hoping you're going to do well, hoping that the guys at the company like you, because that can make a big difference.
Times that all by 2 because both of us were going through the same exact time, and we pretty much everything that we had on making it as truck drivers. So like the very first thing they do is they put you in this big like arcade simulator for trucking, and like at the time I didn't know that I needed glasses as bad as I did. It just really threw my depth perception off so poorly, and I was like, man, if it's gonna be like this, I don't know if I can be a truck driver. But we made it through.
Each step was terrifying, and then having to rely on getting a good trainer or somebody that you get along with, or just, I mean, that whole process I still remember being the most daunting. Like, who am I about to get paired with here? Who am I along with for 2 months, basically, I think is what I came out to, month and a half, something like that. You know, am I be able to live on the truck? And I mean, because you hear nonstop horror stories and people are dropping out left and right next to you, and it's like, we're both going to make it. So it was,
So since we have a lot more viewers in here and also a fresh turnover, Sozo, if you can post Madman's YouTube channel, I want everyone to go on there and subscribe, and we're gonna build him an audience before he releases his video, so that way he can't back out.
I think that comment's kind of interesting. Articulated
license before
CDL. That makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah, my grandfather had basically a CDL before it was a CDL, and they called it a chauffeur's license as well. I'm sure it has a bunch of different names. Johnson's Logic says fat stacks of cash. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for all the people that always ask like how to deal with certain problems in trucking, I always tell them the same exact thing, because this will solve every problem except for maybe 1 or 2. So a fat stack of cash will take care of all of your problems except for experience in the industry. You can't buy that. But if you have a large enough stack of cash, I guess you can start your own trucking. So what did y'all do before trucking? So we touched on yours. You were a heavy equipment operator and kind of any other cool jobs before that?
Lord. I sold used cars for 3 years.
Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah.
Because I have the gift of gab. I was actually a salesman for most of my younger life. I worked at Future Shop, which got bought out by Best Buy. I sold appliances. I sold furniture, and then I graduated to selling used cars. And it was the tired of selling thing that got me into running equipment.
Yeah. So for me, way back, I was a commission sales rep for Verizon Wireless. So sold cell phones and plans and things like that. Hated selling stuff. And then I just got a wild hair and I quit that really good paying job and I stayed at home. We had a really large garage. Hopefully the IRS is not listening because it wasn't quite on the books, but
we didn't make that much. If we made that much, we would have stayed home.
I did powder coating, polishing metals, and wiring for like swaps and race cars and things like that, and did some motor swaps and built race cars. What about you?
I started out of high school, I guess. I went to community college, did some automotive stuff, worked in the dealership for a few years. Then I decided to go back to school for a bachelor's, which ended up all right, I guess. I got a art degree. So maybe not the most useful degree, but I really love art and I have a passion in art, but it doesn't always pay the bills. So I went back and used my automotive degree and sold parts, and I was a service advisor at a chain down here for a while. And then my boss at that Pet Boys was the first one that told me, I think you guys should become truck drivers. So shout out to him again. And I'm going to shout him out for the rest of my life for having that conversation with me when he had to give me a ride to work one morning. We only lived like a mile from the place, but he picked me up, and when our car broke down, I couldn't get to work because we only had one car. Yeah. So
he started the plan in motion.
So, but
all right. So, what is a unique Canadian cuisine?
That goes according to region.
True.
What's your favorite for your region?
For meals would be Quebec and a real poutine.
Yeah. I knew it.
They have this thing called a poutine italienne, where it's fries, cheese curds, spaghetti sauce. For dessert, it's a Thunder Bay thing called Persians. It's a sweet donut with pink icing, and they slice it in half lengthwise. Then they flip it and put it on butter on a hot griddle. Amazing. 10 pounds every time you eat one.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for mine. We're going to meet up at the border and you're going to throw it.
Yep.
They're good with that, right?
How did you learn car stuff? Being too broke to take cars to the dealership to have them repaired correctly.
Yeah.
Trial by fire.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I originally got into it.
A lot of reading, a lot of YouTube, a lot of hanging out with people that know way more than you. So yeah, self-taught. Yeah, definitely. What kind of art?
Man, I'm trying to remember now.
A lot.
All of it, all the art. There was a name for my degree, but I don't even. That's how bad my memory is. I don't even remember what the art degree was. I think it was. I don't know. It's just a regular, just art degree. All of the like fancy art degrees, like graphic design and all those, required like a whole nother course, a whole nother semester of courses. And I was like, I'm just ready to be done. Just give me the regular art degree. I have been in college for long enough. Yeah.
So, is there any truth to this? Canada cuts donuts like bagels.
Is it what the Persian?
A Persian isn't really a donut. It's a sweet dough bun.
Okay.
So kind of.
Yeah. It's you almost have to experience, because I don't think I've ever tasted anything like that. It's a fried sweet dough. Not overpoweringly sweet. The icing is it can be a bit much, but when you put it on the griddle with that butter, it's turns into something else. It's kind of drooling thinking about it.
Good when you post
so good, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed, and then I think we were talking on the voice chat. I was like, "Yeah, gotta go check this."
Now it makes me like copycat it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that one actually was a Liz thing asking me about Canadian stuff, and that's what I mean about regional cuisine, because just about every region will have something. It also depends on what I remember when I was in school, that America was called a melting pot and Canadian you wouldn't call us this now because it has a different meaning, but back in the day we were called tossed salad. Very different meaning nowadays, but back in the day it was because we basically took all the people that immigrated here, put them all together, and had it work out. So I mean, you have like Thunder Bay Finnish pancakes are a big thing. There's Ukrainian communities, there's Hungarian communities, there's borscht up here at just about every other restaurant, depending on the area you're in.
So truck driving is 90% competence, 10% skill. I probably agree with that.
Yeah.
Now that I have to say has to do with the retail background. If you've ever been in retail, you've had to learn the valuable skill of not reacting when somebody says something to you.
That's true.
Because it's the reacting that'll get you in trouble 99 times out of 100.
True.
I think another big part of truck driving is just plain old problem solving. That's most of what the job is. There's a problem, you figure out how to solve it quickly.
It is truck driving problem solving. On rare occasions, but most of the time, if everything's going well, it's day in, day out, load here, drop off there, load here, drop off there. How am I going to chain this? How am I going to strap that? Like your load with all the fluid.
Yeah.
That was probably an interesting load, and you had to change your driving habits. Would you consider that problem solving or just adapting to what the situation called for?
I think that's probably one and the same.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about problem solving as in like doing some big formula, but just, a car pulled up too far into the intersection, you have to make a turn around them. I mean, just quick problem. Crazy.
I think patience. Yeah. Patience in dealing with your environment, patience in dealing with the people, patience with people expecting unrealistic, like my dispatcher hoping I would be in New Brunswick for the 4th. Well, to do that, I'd have to leave New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I'm not that anxious to get divorced. So, no.
The madman, how's that PACCAR working out for you?
I will say this about the new MX-13. Like the torque, I've only had it for a month and a half, so not real sure about reliability and such. The shifting is actually a lot lower than I'm used to, like even lower than, say, a Cat. I'm actually shifting at like 1,300, 1,400 RPM as opposed to 1,450, 1,500, which I find really weird. Same with when you're shifting going up hills. You actually want the RPMs to bottom out on that MX-13, which I find really surprising because most engines like that 1250 area.
Yeah, it's so weird on the newer motors. They're, from what I've seen, most of them are like that.
Yeah,
DD50 was, and the Cummins is.
Yeah, I'll say this: I miss my automatic. I miss having a Volvo for the creature comforts, for the quietness.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it long enough that I can shift a manual as well as an automatic can. Plus, the automatic, you got to remember, the automatic will actually help with your shifting when you do go back to a manual, because the automatic is shifting how it's supposed to be. And if you watch your patterns, you'll develop a very effective shifting pattern from when you do get thrown back into a 13 or an 18 speed.
Yeah.
Yes, I will gladly take you out to eat when we go to Canada. I already told you. Let me know when you're going to be back across the border. I will happily take you out to dinner, my friend.
Dealing with a big part of truck driving. I agree.
Some, yeah.
Yeah, so Johnson's Logic and so are saying Team Volvo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's to be expected.
Would have taken a Volvo, and then they said they had a new body style Peterbilt.
Now, you guys said you were in a Volvo before, right?
No, I was.
He was.
Oh, you were.
Yeah.
Do you like the design of the Peterbilt better than the Volvo? Not for motor, not for anything like that, but for living space.
No.
The Volvo has it pretty much figured out, eh?
Tons of storage. Everything's I don't know, it's pretty well sorted, but I mean, I personally I think the 579 looks a lot better, and it's a lot easier to get the X15 motor in that than the
Yeah.
And also it was available. So
I do think that all the Aero trucks look alike.
yeah, but it's like I don't know, it stands out a little bit different in a sea of Aero trucks. I like the aggressive lights on the 579.
Yeah.
And that digital dash is good. I like it.
It is, yeah. So this one I think is interesting. So yeah, the it's like it's better for fuel economy, which everybody wants better fuel economy, but what the companies don't realize is these things start to shake a lot and rattle a lot when they get those lower RPMs. So I tend to stick it into manual mode and just downshift myself when I get annoyed at how low the RPMs go a lot, which I probably shouldn't. I probably get better fuel economy when I don't do that, but it's frustrating. I loved the DD15 though. I really miss that motor. I wish I could get the ride comfort of a Peterbilt or a Volvo with a DD15. That'd be my perfect truck.
I'm sorry.
I'll say this about Cascadias. They are getting the best fuel mileage on the road right now.
I love them.
I don't think I would now granted it was a 122 SD, but that had to be the ugliest ride I've ever had in a truck in my life.
Yeah,
that was
it's purple.
Yeah,
it's awful. That's why we couldn't do it. But I love the motor.
Anybody that's Team Cascadia is a solo driver.
Yeah, if you like Cascadia ride, yeah, it's so bad. It's just so bad. I mean, we did a lot, guys. Like we spent a lot of money on Fox shocks, really hoping that it was gonna make the Cascadia ride a lot better. And I hear when you order them that you can get like nicer front suspension and stuff, and it makes it better, but
still has a short wheelbase.
Yeah, it still has that short wheelbase, and
hard to fight against that.
It's a shame. I love the motor.
Yeah, you'll never find anybody who has something bad to say about a Detroit.
Yeah, it's so good. I miss it.
I
like the Cummins font.
The Jakes on most of the DEF trucks actually work really, really good.
Yeah.
I think the X15 actually probably has the best ones that I've out of any of the trucks that I've driven. It'll stop 80,000 pounds downhill pretty quick.
I think it depends on the truck. Like Volvo's engine retarder system was very good handling hills, but it was also designed to run down the hill doing 2,200 RPM.
Right.
That Volvo and Mack are both like that. It goes to, and I really can't say this enough. The first thing anybody should do, whether you've been doing it 2 years or whether you've been doing it 40 years, is when you get a new truck, is spend a couple hours with that owner's manual, because it'll save you a lot of heartache.
Learn all the features.
I mean, you guys know, even in the 3 years that you guys have been doing it, there has been rule changes and different procedure changes to the DOT. And that goes without saying. So, I mean, trucks are no different. Trucks change every so many years. But because we're truck drivers, we figure, we know how this works.
Just push buttons, works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I want to know what else you have driven/ridden in.
Yeah.
Are you a solo driver? Have you done team in a Cascadia?
Yeah.
Get back to me on that.
Air ride seats only do so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so bad.
It does help, but also, I mean, the truck just beats you up a lot more.
Yeah.
It's just by design, I guess. But they're pretty reliable. They get great fuel economy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Cascadia. That's what pretty much powers this world.
Yeah.
Majority of the world.
I like the I liked the parts availability, how everybody would work on them. The DD15 was super reliable. It had a lot of pros, but it all really came down to the one big con of the ride.
And it's the big trucks are the same as the pickup trucks. Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody's opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, you get guys who like Volvos, you get guys who like automatics, and what you like is what you like. If you like a long nose Pete, it's another one of those things I don't understand, but you like a long nose Pete and have at her. If you're current market truck driver, miles per gallon, reliability, those are what you're shopping for. If you're shopping for looks, you're making too much money.
I mean, the only reason we've really thought about doing a long nose Pete is because the wheelbase is so much longer, you can get them longer in those. We're like, if that's an even better ride than what we're getting on a Peterbilt or a Volvo, you know, any of those, like, man, maybe that would be something to look at, and maybe that would be something to consider taking the hit on fuel economy if the ride is that much better. But I mean, that's just stuff that we've just been talking about. Yeah.
The one thing I'm having a problem with this TK100, the ride is okay. It does have a long wheelbase. I mean, there's more square footage behind the bunk than there is in it. It's got that much landing gear. But my fuel mileage is I'll get it 7.5 in the prairies, but the moment I go to Ontario, I'm 5.5, 6. Whereas in a Volvo, in a Cascadia, I don't know if the 680 would be much of a difference because it has the same engine, right? I don't think the aero package would make that much of a difference driving through hills, curves, 90 kilometers an hour.
Through hills, ours, that fuel economy drops.
Yeah.
Pretty deep.
So,
with you.
But we still get lowest was like 6.5. Like that, so.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't seen 5.
Labrador City, I was 4.
Woo.
Ouch.
That 573 kilometers I did, I was 4.3 miles per gallon. And even that was trying hard.
There was one day where we were like heavy with a headwind and mountains or something that I think it got really bad, but I mean, there's nothing you can do to control the headwinds, you know?
Yeah.
Keep it pinned.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, and I mean, you have those days where everything's just going against you. You're going up hills, you have a headwind, it's bad weather, you're driving on slippery snow, and your little miles per gallon gauge will actually reach out and go, "What you doing?" You know, smarten up.
What is this snow stuff?
Yeah, we don't
drive
in the snow.
I don't know the.
I'm not gonna lie. Your picture today, working on your truck, and not an ounce of snow anywhere near you, kind of hurt my feelings.
Right. Well, I'm telling you, you come down here, work on the truck.
I cooked in a t-shirt. So, but I mean, I don't know. I like the cold weather.
So what does Mike do when he clocks out, hangs up the keys for the truck? What is your hobbies? What do you enjoy to do when you're on your home time?
When I actually hang up the keys, there's a lot of catching up on those honeydew lists because I usually haven't been home for 3 to 5 weeks. The dogs, 3 dogs, 2 cats, 1 stepchild. They all want attention all the time.
Right.
The wife, making sure her list and she's happy before I go back to work because that's how that game gets played. So playing on the Nintendo Switch with the kid is important too.
What do you play?
You know, right now, actually, we got her. What is that Mario game? It's kind of like a cross between the original Mario and Mario 3, where you go between the worlds, like on those little red dots, and go between the world, click on it.
Yeah.
It's the new one for the Switch. It's fantastic, though. I played it for a couple hours. Watch a lot of movies. Our weekends are the movie nights. Mostly new gearing. I'll get 8.2 and 8.5 through the mountains and 80 and 84 from Wayne to Portland. And what kind of truck, though?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. And when we were talking about the differences, weren't Mac ideas?
Volvo, but they have a little bit difference.
Okay, he's saying a Mac for a time.
That's the old.
Oh, Volvo 760. Okay, yes. All things being equal, in an automatic Volvo, you're going to get much better fuel mileage than a 13 or an 18 speed. That's just a given. There isn't a human on the planet, regardless of how long he's been doing it, who's going to be as good at shifting as a computer will. But
also,
with that being said, and this is coming from a Volvo fan, I generally pass a lot of Volvos going uphill in my 760 that I probably shouldn't be, or in my T800 that I probably shouldn't be. If I let off the fuel a little bit more, I'll get a few miles per gallon. If I take it a little easier on the hills. Yeah, but if your driver pride comes in, right? Well, I can pass this Volvo. He's doing 3 miles an hour slower than me.
Yeah.
Can't let the Kenworth name down now that I own one, right? So
also, Purple Yeti, you're comparing a fleet truck as well. They do a lot of tuning ECUs as well for their desired fuel economy and stuff.
Right.
So they're a little bit more as well.
Yeah, and you have to remember the factor that the T800 is actually generally a heavier spec truck.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of a middle of the road. It can do the heavier spec stuff, but it's not designed. It's not spec'd for it. Mine's actually a weird mix of options and having no options. I have the Nav Plus package, but I have a roll-up driver window.
Yeah. Well, not quite. I was going to say our truck is basically the same. It is a weird combination of like options, but then not options. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's got to where it counts, right?
Yeah.
Yep. See, and Ross, that's actually one of the worst things you can do for a Volvo, believe it or not. If you want maximum fuel economy, you got to let the computer do the work when it comes to an automatic Volvo, especially with the Volvo motor. We keep forgetting that I a lot of times up here you hear about people deleting trucks, right? There's companies from coast to coast. Delete your truck $499. Delete your truck $500. The new trucks are designed to work with the DEF treatment system. When you remove that DEF treatment system and your truck starts acting up, you shouldn't wonder why. It's designed this way. I mean, Packard just spent the last 4 years trying to get the MX-13 figured out because it is a Cummins designed engine with Kenworth and Peterbilt software. And it took them 4 years to get that all ironed out to work with the with the after-treatment system. If you remove that after-treatment system, you're gonna affect your mileage, you're gonna affect your reliability, and your sensors are gonna derate you on a fairly regular basis. Ask the guy who was just in a deleted Volvo all about it.
Johnson's Logic says he's satisfied with his low 8s, but at health, sir.
Unfortunately, up here, you would be a lot less satisfied when you're comparing five and change a gallon to 3 and change a gallon. You guys usually, sometimes.
Yeah, we're in low threes, high 2s, sometimes.
Right. So, I mean, with our fuel mileage up here, it does play a much fuel prices up here play a much bigger part. And again, you got to balance that with our heavier loads. So we're automatically going to get worse fuel mileage on not so much with what I'm doing now, because I'm doing a lot of LTL now, even doing flat deck. But when I was doing full truckload, I was hauling heavy weights all the time, and my mileage reflected that. You're not going to get 8.5, 9 even in a Volvo. You're going to do mid 6s. You're going to do low 7s, and you're going to be happy with doing that.
So when can we expect the first video on the Madman YouTube channel?
I will put up the first video. What I would like to do is actually put some driving footage in, which means I'll be getting back into the truck on the 3rd. And if I can ask for some help setting up the editing and such on, say, the 4th, because I got some footage of getting loaded. I got some footage of getting tarped. I got that stuff. That stuff's nice and easy. But when I'm in front of a camera, for some reason, I'm not talking to somebody, and I'm talking to a camera. For some reason, the little lizard part of my brain goes, "What are you doing?"
Right.
Yeah.
It changes after a while. You just like turn it on and you start rambling, and that's the glory part about editing is you can edit all of it out.
And then you actually get people pointing out stuff that you didn't notice about yourself. Like I didn't even notice how often you played with your glasses until you actually pointed out. And then your next video, I'm like, he does play with them a lot.
Oh, you're gonna find your dark secret as well, and then some comments are gonna point it out too.
Yeah, and people have no problem being real honest with you.
Right. I don't know, it's borderline or just taking shots, but either way.
Yeah. Either way, and I have fairly thick skin. Not much bothers me. I would like to think.
Yeah, that does happen to literally in any public speaking situation at all.
Yeah.
Your things that you repeat or the things that you say that people find annoying or just everywhere.
But with that being said, I will also say this. There's going to be a huge disclaimer on my channel. I'm not politically correct. If I like you, I like you, regardless of who you are, what you do for a living. If I don't like you, it might be for a simple reason as I don't like your initials. I'm tolerant. But I'm not politically correct. I'm not going to say, I'm proud of myself for how long I've gone without swearing on this, because this has been amazing. This is about the longest I've gone without cussing some H-bombs there.
I can see the forehead.
The stress is getting to me, though.
Just need one F-bomb.
Yeah, just drop one. You said I could.
Get pretty wild in the comments, so just
yeah.
It's just people go wild when they think that they can hide behind a screen.
Oh yeah, and people who I've never wanted to be the center of attention, but I certainly make an entrance. I've always found it funny how much the room will pick up when you, I, and a couple of key others. Yeah. I've also, people who say we're cliquish, I would totally disagree, because any of us will chat with anybody who's in the room.
Yeah, somebody came in and he said a comment when the Discord was at its slowest, and then everyone kind of jumped back in and didn't catch back up. So he threw his hands down and said that we were cliquish, but that's completely the opposite of how it actually is, because there was 3 or 4. So in the last 3 or 4 days, there's been about 20 new people. Yeah. And I would say probably, I don't know, 5 of them are in there chatting with us all day. Yep. I mean,
here's what I think about a room like that. You're behind a screen. They don't know what you look like. They don't know where you live. Ask those things that you've been too scared to ask anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
How often should I check this? How should I check this? And you're going to get differing opinions. Like when Buddy asked about adding anti-gel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just found out that if you add anti-gel to an aftermarket an engine with aftermarket, there's a chance of setting the truck on fire, so they don't recommend it anymore. That don't be scared of asking the questions, because if you don't ask the questions, where else are you going to learn? And everybody has different experiences, everybody has different life experiences, and you'd be surprised at what some of the answers can be.
Yeah.
And like what we talked about earlier is we're all doing the same job as, we're driving a truck, we're turning the steering wheel, hitting the brakes, but just the things that you come across, and like, and I have to kind of remember that when people are asking questions, because how I do it is, there should be a disclaimer on that as well. Like, take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Get stuck with gelled up fuel. It's not my fault.
Yeah. When somebody asked how to go down a steep hill when you're in a truck, well, the factors on that, I know it's awesome, isn't it? That was a Christmas gift from 4 years ago. But when I was asked about how to actually effectively use the jakes going down a steep grade, there's a lot of factors in that, and what it really relates to is how much do you pay attention to your truck? Were you paying attention to what gear and how fast you're going up the hill? Because that affects how fast you're going down the hill. How much weight do you have on? What size motor? A 13 liter compared to a 15 or a 16 liter? How comfortable are you with the truck? How long have you been in the truck? Because if you've been in the truck for a year or more, you're going to know that you better know the truck.
Yeah.
And I can tell you how I do it. How I do it might scare the bejeebas out of you too. I literally went down a 17% grade. I put in fourth and did the jakes on medium, and away I went.
Right.
Probably not the proper way to do it, considering I had the truck for 2 weeks at that point.
Oops.
It worked out, made it to the bottom. One way or the other, I was making it to the bottom.
Right. But I heard from an old trucker that you only get to go down the hill really, really fast one time in your life.
Yep. And after you clean up your pants, you learn not to do that again.
Yeah.
It's also real funny because if you go to BC a lot.
I don't understand what it says. I've given up. I've tried a million different ways to redo that word.
Retots?
Yeah.
I believe he's trying to
I don't know.
We'll put you in timeout.
God, I wish I had that button. My day would be a lot quieter.
Yeah, we'll switch shiny side up. Yeah, that's the goal, right? All right, so we're at an hour and a half on here. So let's retorts are. Yeah, I don't know.
What are retorts? I know what I think the word means, but I'm probably wrong and politically incorrect.
To make any guesses.
Right. I think that's where that was heading. That's why it just got
demonetized.
Right. Sozo, if you could drop the link for his YouTube channel one more time, we're gonna throw it out there. And everyone just kind of join in. We'll get a video up. I'm gonna help him get some editing up, and yeah, we'll try to get him in there, because I think there's a lot of interesting content, especially with Canada. You know, a lot of the views and a lot of places that you go, and also just doing the type of the work that you do, and just the climate change that you get, because I mean, there's a lot of people here that don't drive in snow, like us. But just existing and doing the same job, but just in a vastly different environment, I guess.
Yep. It's always staggering how the same job can be so different.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. And that's when somebody when they were pushing us to start a YouTube, I was like, what do I have to say that's going to be any different than any other, trucking channel? But it's like, I watch numerous trucking channels that are doing the same exact thing, and I find it interesting, and we're all doing the same thing. So,
Yep.
just to add another view to it, and I think your channel could provide some good entertainment for everyone.
Probably. If nothing else, the Canadian aspect alone, just in what you deal with up here, the vast emptiness, the crazy traffic by Toronto,
or the roads washing out after you go over them.
Yeah.
That's always a good one too. That's only happened a few times this year.
That was the time that I was like, you need to make a YouTube, because that is pretty interesting. Like taking across or having to take a ferry across.
That's the bad part. You never get to see the stuff because it's behind you. You only hear about it that the road's closed, that you can't get back.
Yeah, but you can narrate.
Yeah.
Things that I say that I just kind of narrate it. You don't get to see it.
Yeah.
You understand.
But I do recommend taking that Alaska trip in the summer. If not for, because I look at it like this: I got to take a ferry in a truck, something I never did in a personal vehicle. I got paid to go on a ferry. Quite the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting paid to take a scenic drive like that, no brainer at least once.
We'll consider it. It's a strong maybe now.
Yeah.
I'll meet you on the way with Persians.
There you go. All right.
We can discuss your terms for getting me a TV in the truck.
Off, yes. Then shaky, yes.
I need to renew my passport, and you need to get an all new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Kenneth asks, are there set times for these lives? No, not really, man. Yeah, we don't
try to keep it under 2 hours, right?
Well, I think he's talking about when we make them.
When we make
no, they just kind of happen when we have time or people to interview. Like we're both sitting at home, and I've wanted to get Ben on here for quite a while, and now we did.
Ta-da!
So does any questions while we wrap up?
I do have one statement. For the people asking about MAD, as you can tell by my personality, not very often, despite what you've heard in the room, MAD comes from my initials. That's it.
Oh.
Michael, Andrew, Donald.
Okay. I was thinking the
Mad
other,
Millen.
like crazy.
No, but you've thought some weird stuff about me, Liz. I'm not gonna lie. I have to start reevaluating the impression I give on people.
She's calling you a mad lad.
Yep. She thought I was old and stuff.
Like
you weren't born in 46, were you?
Like we're talking to our parents, our friends, and I'll say something like, "Oh, Madman said the other day," and they'll look at me like, "What?" Don't worry.
I guess you're the equivalent of a TV handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good name. I like.
Oddly enough, I never listened to mine.
Yeah.
We don't either. I have one.
Yeah, we bought one, but still don't use it very much.
No.
It's hard to team drive with it on because it.
You should know.
Wait, Ross asking somebody what's being home like?
He is.
The most.
I've had to snow blow. I've had to install a new lock on the front door. I had to put a doorbell in. I had to fix the gate. I have to still do laundry. My list for tomorrow includes a bunch of other stuff. So I might make it early to New Brunswick.
Maybe.
Also thought mad like crazy. I'm giving off a horrible first impression to people, apparently.
Good. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Mad Canadian is illegal somehow.
Paul says you really need to take a look at Alaska. I did it once per year for 20 years. Yeah, but what did you get out? What were you hauling? Because that makes a huge difference. There's no dry van coming out.
Yeah. That would.
So if you were like flatbed or reefer, I mean, it makes sense. But if we go up there, it's going to be with the understanding that whatever the rate is, we cut it in half because that's going to be there and back, and it's going to be a vacation.
I think it's worth it though to do it once. I really do. The scenery, and the stories you'll have for when you're done.
Yeah.
For sure. It might be worth doing once.
They should have a special badge at companies like Prime and Land Store, Alaska Highway, a sticker you could put on your truck. I done did it.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think so.
Poppy says she's down for Alaska trip. Yeah, you like doing all the obscure stuff. I'll take one in the summer. Yeah. Yep. Go way down in the summer because everyone's willing to do the Alaska run during the summer, not during the winter.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't even do one in the winter, and I'm used to it.
Winter.
Yeah. All right. I really appreciate your time. It was great having you on, and hopefully I'm going to check on the YouTube channel and see how many people actually subscribed, and I'm going to publicly shame everyone if they didn't. So,
is there a way to go see who subscribed?
Can
we actually
on his side people? There is, but not on our side. But yeah, man, thanks for joining on the live. This should definitely not be the only one. So,
it's been a treat. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, anytime, man. Maybe when we're back on the road, we'll catch up for another one, and
anytime.
A thriving YouTube channel.
Well, like I said, the 4th will be the first one. Grand opening, grand premiere.
All right, so let's take this last question because I think it's a really good one. Do you still enjoy the lifestyle, or is this a career that will burn you out? Go for it, man. I know you have some profound stuff on this.
It'll do both. If this is nothing but a money-making endeavor for you, you'll be burned out at the end of 5 years. If you enjoy the seeing things, if you enjoy the meeting new people, if you enjoy your own company, it could be a very rewarding lifestyle. There's stuff I've done in the truck that I would have never done elsewise. I can't justify $150 just to take a ferry ride.
Yeah.
But in a truck, they can justify paying $700 for me to go across, and I get the experience of buying a $7 cup of coffee. But those are experiences that I would have never done otherwise. I would have never been on a ferry. I would have never traveled up to Northwest Territories. I would have never. These are all things I'm getting paid to do, and I enjoy it a lot. Truck stops aren't what they were. You don't talk to people at truck stops like they used to, but there's still times you'll overhear truck drivers and they don't mind you hopping in on the conversation as long as you're respectful and polite about it. Same as the mighty Discord server. Don't be quiet in it. Ask some questions. Be polite.
Don't just join and then not say anything.
Yeah.
We're like, talk, but apparently we're too cliquish and they don't want
to. Don't. My advice to anybody is don't be scared to try it if it's something that genuinely interests you.
Yeah, for sure.
So trucking, we've talked about this quite a bit. Trucking is a lifestyle, and I hate that term. When we first got in, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a lifestyle." I hated that, but it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot see after the first few months when we got our own truck and we were together and stuff, we would just sit back and just drive some of these amazing views that there would be absolutely no reason that I would ever go to Utah aside from doing this job. I had never really left the East Coast of the US, and now we've been to all 48 states, and obviously we haven't been to Alaska. That's still a shaky yes.
Ooh, we might do 49.
And then Hawaii is just out of the question. But
why?
It is
truck,
well, our truck can't swim. But so, like he was saying, if you go in just for the money, yeah, you're going to get burned out pretty quick. But something happens when you start doing this job and you actually enjoy it. If you find the right company, you find the right setup that works for you, and you start factoring in, like, the whole goal is to work less and get paid more in trucking. And the faster you can work towards that, the more you enjoy it. So I can't see myself ever going back to a 9-to-5 job ever.
Yeah.
It would also be hard to figure out what to do with the rest of your time in a 9-to-5 job.
It's very true.
That was my, would my wife like me home a lot more? Yeah, of course she would. I'm a hell of a guy. But when you think of that 9-to-5, you work for 8-9 hours with your travel and everything else. What do you do with the rest of your day? Your honey-do list is only so long, and then you're either spending money, wasting time, getting into bad habits.
Well, we were asked early on, what kind of life is that since you're gone all the time and you just work and sleep in the stuff? But before, we didn't have much of a life before. It was like, go to work, you work all day, you cook supper, we see each other for a little while, you go to sleep, you do it all over again. So I say that we're doing more living now. Than
100%.
before.
Yeah.
The amazing thing about trucking, and I say this all the time, depending on where you're going, and especially in your exact situation, we just booked a load going to Florida. We're going to Disneyland. I just booked a load to Montreal. There's a concert on the 27th. I'm going to go see Ozzy before he kicks over.
Again.
But there's a lot of options that come with this job that really don't come with anything else. Yeah. Can you make hardcore plans with this job? Not all the time. All it takes is one little smidgen thing, and your next week just went to pot. But at the same time, that's what goes back into having that patience, having that 10 seconds of not reacting to something that was said, so you can actually think reasonable about this. Is this a bad thing? Well, maybe not. Plans change.
Yeah. All right. I think we've taken enough of your time.
Not a problem.
That honey-do list, and enjoy the after holidays and your time. And I really appreciate you jumping on with us.
Has been my pleasure, sir. Yeah. And madam.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video or live or whatever we do next. Bye.